breakdown for yesterday's trade and today's morning trade as well. Hopefully you guys had a good trading session last night or even this morning. This video isn't going to be too long. I'm going to just go ahead and break down gold. I'm going to also break down US30, and I'm going to also give my projection of what I'm looking for going into Tuesday's session and then to end the week and of course the month. We did have a good trading session overall though. We followed our rules, pretty much waiting for confirmation. One rule that I did break, I did trade a little early when it came to gold, but for that reason I was in and out of my trade and I didn't allow myself to hold it any longer. Main reason being I was already floating my daily profit goal, so I was cool with closing, and I did take that trade on multiple accounts. So even better for me, I was able to be aggressive with that move and take advantage on 3 accounts and not only one. Yeah, that was the biggest thing, was just following my rules, being disciplined, and making sure I don't allow greed or my pride to get in the way and potentially cause me to take a step back when I have some momentum on my side, based off last week's results. So we're just going to continue pressing forward, continue being disciplined, continue being patient. At this point in the week, I have actually crossed over my weekly goal, which is a huge deal, just because this is my second week coming into the market, and in a row coming into the market and executing at a high level and being able to maximize my profits with the trades that I'm taking. So I just got to continue doing what I'm doing, not allow myself to to get ahead of what I'm actually trying to accomplish here, and just taking it a day at a time, because that's what's really going to get me to my end goal of making X amount of dollars at the end of the year. So hopefully we can continue applying pressure, continue being smart, and being aggressive when the market presents us an opportunity. So with that being said, man, let's go ahead and hop into the breakdown and get into the good stuff. So gold, we see here we are still bullish. Now based off our 4-hour time frame, we're still respecting our high at around 29.46, 29.50 being, well, 29.55 being like the highest that price action has touched, but our main resistance is within this 4-hour green zone that I have drawn here that says major resistance. We also have a minor higher low opportunity in here that is maintained as we pretty much consolidated along our level of resistance. And then with yesterday's London session going into today's daily close, we had a huge bearish push below that minor higher low point, still testing major structure, which identifies structure as bullish, is this push here. So as long as we maintain above here, we can still look for buys. Now this was a temporary sell move. Now based off this resistance and price forming resistance, of course, but also testing this level, we had like these bearish engulfings and a bearish variation, and within this area is where I took my first trade last night to execute for a sell opportunity. I was in and out of the trade, securing maybe about 70 pips, making just about 1%. So let's see here. So 4-hour time frame, I drew this a little eclipse tool, just so we know what area we're breaking down. So we're going to go from this 4-hour into this 3-hour to see what price is doing in this level of resistance. Now we see here you have price find resistance up here. Price then found a lower high based off your 30-minute time frame, and then this is where we begin to get that second bullish variation. Price then broke a minor level of support in here. Now when price was exhausting within this whole area, we had all this exhaustion, we had a strong bearish candle close. I'm definitely on my 5-minute time frame in this area. Now when I see here that price found this level of resistance and then followed up, I'm sorry, are you calling me? I apologize. Once we had this follow through bearish candle, this is when I took my entry, and was willing to put my stop loss above the high. Now this is a large stop loss, but this stop loss allows price action to do whatever it wants to do, and as long as price doesn't get to the high up here, then the trade is still valid. So price pretty much didn't even have to do any noise up here. Price simply just left with momentum off of this 4 hour resistance, coming into your lower levels of, well, not even lower levels. There are levels of support in here based off these 4 hour wicks, but we're pretty much trying to get back below resistance if we're taking sell opportunities above to anticipate that that area is going to hold. And sure enough, that area did hold going into New York session with this large bearish push here. So let's go back to our 30-minute, okay, so our 5-minute. So we've identified our confirmation candle and why we've taken that trade. Now when price hit our 4 hour median level right in here, this was about 100 pips. I did wait to see if we could get more momentum, but price simply pulled back a little bit, and I closed my trade for about a 1-1, which isn't too bad because I was willing to execute based off my confidence level for this setup. And B, you know, I was patient and waited for my confirmation candle. So 70 pips was good. I was willing to take my bread and wait for later on to execute another opportunity. Now I did hold off on the whole session and didn't trade gold at all throughout London. I did trade during New York though, where I'm gonna be sharing my US30 setup. But if we were to execute on gold around this time, we would have waited for price to find a level of resistance and then hold. Now we still have levels of a higher low being respected, so you definitely don't want to sell into these levels because there's a possibility that price action can reject it and go up. Now, after we got that initial push off of our resistance that we were aiming for when we executed, close for 70 pips, seen price test these levels of support, stalled out, had a push through, came back up, respecting 4 hour resistance and gave us a 30-minute candle. This would have been your New York entry with this 30-minute bearish engulfing. Now that is a kind of a large stop loss, but as long as you manage your risk appropriately, then this is definitely a trade that could have been executed on for a high possibility that we were going to try and get a lower low based off of us stalling out at this high. And sure enough, price broke through, formed a low based off your 30-minute time frame. 4 hour time frame is still overall holding a level of a higher low now. So yeah, that would have been your two bearish moves for pretty much Monday to Tuesday daily candle close. Now what I'm looking for gold going into today's session, we see here we are still bullish. This 4 hour candle, when it closed below, we had all this exhaustion. So I'm definitely on the smaller time frames, trying to track if buyers are going to pretty much come back into the market and start forming bullish structures. So now since we started out at the bottom, we've seen price form that low, lower high, low, higher low, high, low, higher high, and now we're trending in and we have some bullish momentum. So what I'm definitely looking for is for price to have a steeper pullback and respect one of my levels of support. And as long as we could respect one of these levels of support, then I'll definitely be looking for a bullish confirmation to get back above that 4 hour level of resistance that we initially had to break to have any sort of bearish bias. Well, at least one with high confluence. Now you do have the confidence bearish moves, which is executing at the resistance, but the safer move is going to be that last higher low point and the support that was initially holding right below resistance. So I'm gonna just be waiting for gold to give me a pullback into one of these levels, and once we so happen to get a higher low, then I'll be executing to get back up to that level of 4 hour resistance and potentially break to get to a new higher high point, since we are still bullish. So that's going to be my 4 hour gold bias going into today's session. I don't think I'm a target a sell move. I think a sell move could maybe be short lived. I could be wrong, just because we did close bearish based off daily. We are trading below this 4-hour level of resistance and what was holding as a level of support. So if price on your 4-hour and 1-hour time frame could potentially form bearish engulfing candles along this level of support, now being respected as resistance, then we could definitely have some sort of confirmation to get a bearish push back down to where we potentially wicked off around 28.90. So yeah, so gold is going to be interesting going into today's session. So we'll see how that plays out. Now let's go to US30. Now US30, we are still overall bullish. We did have price form and test resistance and got a strong bearish push to close last week's candle. Now, the one thing that's very interesting to me to still execute buys is we are testing a daily level of interest. So this daily level of interest is here right around 43.400. 43.4K. We see here we had a daily bearish counter trend where price broke below these levels of support based off your 4-hour and 1-hour time frame, showing that we could potentially trend bearish if we maintain below that level. But based off your weekly time frame, this weekly candle could close bullish, forming resistance for this week. And currently your daily has found resistance here that took 3 days to form with the bearish candle, doji candle, and then a strong bullish candle. So what I'm looking for at this point in time, as we're approaching that daily level of interest, is waiting for a bullish transition to execute buys. I know I don't really trade US30 like that, but I know there are certain zones that get played or different psych levels that have high confluence and get rejected quickly as price is pretty much trading at those levels. And sure enough, as you guys see here, we do have lower highs form on the top side, followed by the lower low, then the lower high, and then at this point we're in a range as price comes down to support and then comes right back up. So right in here, at that point, you know you're in a range, an area of consolidation. So what I'm looking for is as price is respecting support right in here going into New York session, I'm on my 15 and 5 minute as soon as price has formed and tested support, as you guys can see here based off this 1-hour time frame. So 15 minute tested support, formed a lower high, tested support again, even based off of this one, exhausted and gave you a strong bullish engulfing. So at this point you could have entered and been confident enough to hold through drawdown because there is a good possibility price would pull back. Now I didn't get in at this point in time. I got in after we had this retracement based off the 15-minute time frame. So we're going to go from the 15-minute to the 5. Now we had this bullish candle right after this bearish candle and what looked to be a tested level of support. Now I entered right in here based off my 1-minute time frame. So my biggest thing that I was looking at, I had a trend line opportunity that I was looking at that could maybe help. So yeah, this is one. So this is a level, a tool that you can use as a level of confluence. I did have this on my chart on my phone, but I did use this also for entry. So we did get that first initial break above here, price retested support. You had the double bottom, and then at that point you usually wait for what is called like a break of a neckline, but I would be waiting for a pretty much a bullish transition, resistance to turn support. But once we had this rejection here, came back down, formed a higher low. I was betting off the 5-minute and the 1-minute time frame as soon as price gave us that second level of support. So we had this and then this here, that's when I entered. So price went into profit, came a little lower than my entry opportunity, and then after that took off for over 200 points. So that was my biggest confluence to this buy opportunity, was the daily level of support, our daily level of interest. And then we also had that bullish transition where price was forming a higher low opportunity, but also based off your 1 hour, we were showing um, a lot of rejection, and we were showing what is called seller's exhaustion. So with those confluences, that's why I entered. Going into tomorrow's session, now we got to keep in mind we are still bearish off the top side. We are testing our last level of a lower high right in here, and it looks like price is stalling out. So as long as we maintain below 43.750 and we show levels of support get broken, and we have new lower high points being formed based off like your 5-minute time frame and 15-minute, then at that point we can execute sales. But other than that, if price were to stall out and form a new higher low opportunity, then you could see a break of 43,750 and potentially 44,000 of 44.2k get hit. So that's pretty much going to be my bias for US30, unless we get a break above here and we get like even a higher low to form in this area. I definitely won't be looking to buy. Now momentum could come in at any time and price can literally just take off. But I'm not gonna rush just because of the amount that I made this week. So I'm gonna definitely play it patient and make sure I get a trade with a good confirmation before even executing. So this is going to be one of the two opportunities that I'm going to be looking at for the 1 hour time frame for US30 to see if we get buy positions. I don't think I'll be looking for sales just because we're trading above our daily level of interest. So I definitely want to see this area hold as support and we get a bullish push. So that's going to be my US30 bias. That's going to be my gold bias. But man, I hope you guys learned something from this video, man. Definitely blessed and grateful to be off to a good start for this week. Now we just got to continue to repeat the process and remain disciplined. Don't get ahead of ourselves. Trade like a professional and really treat this with some intention and override those bad habits that we once had, even myself. So just a little motivation, man. We just got to continue pressing forward, and hopefully we end the month of February profitable and head into March with some momentum. So if you've seen it up to this point in the video, man, I appreciate you. Hopefully you have a blessed day, and let's keep killing it, man. I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Peace.